Welcome to a short reflection on Canto 10 of Dante's Inferno by Sebastian Maffut. Chiardi notes that the whole aim of Epicurean philosophy was the achievement of natural happiness, because the mortality of the soul precluded any form of eternal or supernatural happiness. Followers of this philosophy have only their own pride to stand on, and they might not only puff themselves up in a demonstration of their own dignity, as Farinata does when he addresses Dante, but also express sorrow at the good of others, as Cavalcanti does when he sees that Dante has been allowed a vision that his own son does not share. Pride and envy, then, accompany the heretic as his primary dispositions, and it is these two pillars that provide the opening for the remainder of hell that lies below. Dante's response to Virgil's admonition to mind how he speaks to Farinata is not only to pay respect to a soul who once stood alone in his defense of Florence, but also to proclaim in his aside to Cavalcanti the truth that aid other than human genius is necessary for salvation. Dante's encounter with Farinata in Cavalcanti brings up a question in his mind of the ability of the damned to prophesy, but their apparent lack of knowledge of current affairs. He first noticed the prophetic element in his discussion with Ciacco in the third circle, and Farinata gives him the same prophecy, but both Farinata and Cavalcanti ask questions about the present. Farinata for news of Florence, and Cavalcanti for news of his son. It makes sense for it to be explained in this circle of those who denied immortality, and by doing so God's revelation, that they will truly embrace the state they proclaimed, as their intellects will be drained on the last day. They'll have with them their dead bodies, which everyone will go and get, and feel perfect pain, but have no consolation of philosophy or knowledge. Virgil ends the canto with a prophetic pronouncement of his own, that Dante's soul was in danger of following that of Guido's, Cavalcanti's son, and we'll see when Dante meets Beatrice that she makes good on Virgil's promise, that from Beatrice Dante will learn the turnings of his way. The turn that Dante had made was to philosophy, and not a philosophy, apparently, that had uplifted his soul. He associated with Guido, a skeptic, and may have leaned for a time in that direction. After all, we did find him in a dark wood of error. But mortally, according to Beatrice, is his loss of his sense of her. We'll find when we get to the Garden of Eden at the top of Mount Purgatory that Dante retired for a brief time from his poetry, and was in danger of forgetting the divine revelation and love that Beatrice personifies. The dark night of Dante's soul transpired in the 20-year period between his writing of La Vita Nuova and his beginning of the Commedia. In our own studies, we should remember that philosophy is merely the handmaid of theology. It's not an end, but a means. The end is Jesus Christ, to whom all philosophy should lead us.